5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm from a place where the girls are always looking pretty. You might have heard of us, we call it Shy City. We build champions here who define gritty. We don't do excuses, we don't do pity. Rose is coming back stronger, that's a guarantee. Cutler's coming back too, he's beastly. Throwing it to Marshall, the title's ours easily. Black Hawks are winning titles, trophy looking massive. Don't forget about the Cubs, Sox, Crosstown Classic. With so much greatness, we gotta show bravado. You got your boys Ambro and Mike Mercado.
That's right, the Chicago Beat is back. I am Mike Mercado, and it is a beautiful June 18th, 2012 in the city of Chicago. I hope you all had a beautiful weekend. And for everybody who is from my neck of the woods in Elk Grove Village, I know you partied it up at Rotary Fest 2012. Hope everybody's doing well and going back to work to normal life. If you want to follow the Chicago Beat, you can find us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Or if you want to comment us on Facebook, we're at facebook.com/MikeMercado2333.com. And if you want to watch the show, you can find us at YouTube/MikeMercado2333.com. And today on the Chicago Beat, we're going to start off with, what else? The Crosstown Classic. That's right. I don't know if any of you guys have been paying attention. Tonight on the South Side, the Crosstown Classic continues as the Chicago Cubs will send Matt Garza versus Zach Stewart. Both pitchers struggling this season, and you could say that about almost every player on the Chicago Cubs. But yes, it's Crosstown Classic time, and a lot of the air has been taken out of this series just because of how bad the Cubs have been struggling, and the White Sox have been struggling as well over the last 2 weeks. The White Sox, who are 4-6 over the last 10 games, have a game-and-a-half lead over Cleveland and a 3-game lead over Detroit. This is what you're going to take off of this series between the Cubs and the White Sox. As a Cub fan, I understand it's going to be a struggle. Really, this season doesn't mean too much. So we're going to try to pay attention to the White Sox. Right now, you have a 3-game lead over Detroit. I'm going to take Cleveland out of this because they're going to play themselves out of contention. Detroit is the only team this season who has really not been able to find their stride who was supposed to. Their hitting has been there, but it's been the rotation that has not. Other than Justin Verlander, there has not been a consistent pitcher, and even at that point, you have seen Justin Verlander struggle. Although Detroit has won their last 2 games and are 7-3 over their last 10, while everybody else in the division has gone the other way. The White Sox have done exactly what they're supposed to. They're beating the teams they're supposed to. Yes, the White Sox are a playoff team. They're probably going to win the division if Detroit continues to be Jekyll and Hyde. Does that necessarily mean a World Series contender? No. And the simple argument for that is, in a 7-game series, in a 5-game series, in the 1-game series, are they truly better than any team in the American League who would be in the playoffs right now? Here you go. Are they better than Texas? No. Are they better than the Yankees? No. Are they better than Baltimore? You can make an argument about that. I'll give you that one. Are they better than Tampa Bay, though? No. So let me put it to you this way. You put the White Sox in the American League East, they're not even in the playoffs. They're the last team in the division. So, of course, they're taking advantage of their division, but this is the most frustrating part if you're a White Sox fan is you're not putting enough space in between you and the teams below you. It should be a bigger lead than 3 games over Detroit and a game-and-a-half over Cleveland. It should be. And if I was a White Sox fan, I would be very upset about that. But you are seeing it this season because they're not going to the stadium. And that's a whole different conversation for a different day. But what I've taken since we've been on break on the Chicago Beat here on WICB Chicago is the White Sox have overachieved while still managing to underachieve at the same time. And that's hard to do. And that's hard to manage in a city that has a bunch of underachievers to begin with. Now, if you want to go on the north side and have some discussion with us on Twitter at mmercado2333 or on Facebook/MikeMercado2333.com, the biggest thing I've been getting is, what are the Cubs going to do? What moves are they going to make? Now, the obvious move is Ryan Dempster. Although Peter Gammons has said and has written down and has said on multiple media, he believes the big guy, the big fish on this trade market is Matt Garza. Now, what are you going to get from Matt Garza, though? What are teams willing to give up for either one of these pitchers? The White Sox are the team who would love to have Ryan Dempster. Because of a depleted farm system, they can't make a move. So who out there can? Does Baltimore want Alfonso Soriano? The Cubs are still going to have to eat over $50 million of that. And do you realize if everything is to work the way itself out with Matt Garza gone, Ryan Dempster shipped out, Marlon Byrd gone, Carlos Zambrano, and Alfonso Soriano, within the next year and a half, the Cubs' payroll would be down to $34 million. I don't know how you want. Take that as it is as a Cub fan. Take it as it is. Yes, you are rebuilding, but yet this is a complete rebuild. So it's not surprising that they've only won 21, 22 games. It's not surprising. It's disappointing, but it's not surprising. And even with all that, there's just no buzz for this series and for these two teams. Of course, you have your diehards. But for the most part, it's all been about either the NBA Finals. Again, you have 2 future Hall of Famers, 5 All-Stars, countless MVPs and scoring titles and All-Stars and whatnot in that series. And the fact that the Bears are going to be a good team, hopefully on paper. But again, this is a baseball city that has a lot of baseball roots, but there's just the product on the field isn't great. Paul Konerko's having a great season. There's just no buzz for him. Something's a lackluster this summer about the city of Chicago baseball. You have one team that's absolutely in the tank. You have one team who is overachieving and underachieving, is up and down. One day the pitching staff is just holding it up. The next is the bats don't come alive. Should make out to be an interesting summer, though, at least for the South Side. I think you're going to see a lot of moves from the North Side. I think you're going to see some push from the South Side. You can find the Chicago Beat everywhere in the universe. If you want to follow us, you can find us at mmercado2333. Or if you want to comment the show, you can find us at Facebook/MikeMercado2333.com. Do you love listening to the radio? Do you love watching sports? Now, do you love talking and having conversation about sports and music? If you said yes to any of these questions, call the Illinois Center for Broadcasting in Lombard now at 630-916-1700. Or visit our website at beonair.com to find out how you can get started in an exciting career in radio and television broadcasting. Take it from me, I'm a graduate and I love every second since I enrolled in November 2010. The Illinois Center for Broadcasting offers hands-on training on radio and television internships while you're attending school. Guys, it's awesome. ESPN, 670 The Score, ABC, Fox, it's all in the palm of your hand. Whether you want to be on air or behind the scenes, a career in broadcasting awaits you. Call now to schedule a tour of our school and meet with our radio and television instructors. There are people who are actually in the industry, guys. Our day and evening classes are filling up fast, so call today at 630-916-1700. We even offer job placements assistance after you graduate. Guys, it's a whole list of stuff, cool leads, places you'll never thought you could be, and it only happens in a career in broadcasting. Call the Illinois Center for Broadcasting at 630-916-1700 or visit our website at beonair.com. Find us on Facebook and on Twitter. The Illinois Center for Broadcasting, where broadcasting careers begin. And coming up next on the Chicago Beat, we'll have Jack Smith all about the Chicago Cubs and Chicago White Sox on WICB and the Chicago Beats.
You're listening to WICB with Mike Mercado.
A city that has diehards who know when their teams are bad and know when their teams are good. And yet every single day they go to the stadium.
And that's the Beat.
Now, of course, the word around the town everybody's talking about is the NBA Finals. And the Miami Heat taking the 2-1 lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, here on the Chicago Beat on WICB Chicago, where you can follow us at Twitter at mmercado2333 or on Facebook /MikeMercado2333.com, we posted who would be the biggest difference maker in this series. And I picked Russell Westbrook. Many people picked LeBron James, Kevin Durant, the obvious choices. Of course, you know, they're the guys. You can't go wrong picking them. But Russell Westbrook has shown you what he means one way or the other to the Oklahoma City Thunder. First of all, the argument who's better between Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook, I just have one simple thing to say. If you listen to the Chicago Beat, you listen to me, you know Russell Westbrook is a top 10 player to me. Russell Westbrook wants to be the man. Derrick Rose is the man. And that's the difference. Being the man means you do what you have to do to win the game. Whether it means the last shot, the last assist, big stop, big rebound, it doesn't matter what it is. Not to say Russell Westbrook can't do it, but he hasn't done it yet. Derrick Rose is a MVP. He's the guy on his team. He's the option. And we've seen what he's done. Put Derrick Rose with Kevin Durant together, chances are either man would score over 30 points because they want to dish the ball so much, but that's the equivalent of just doing what you gotta to win the game. Now, Derrick Rose puts him up. Don't get it twisted. Derrick Rose could put up 20 shots, no problem. But again, the Bulls live and die by his sword. Kevin Durant took 19 shots. Russell Westbrook, 18. 8 for 18. Come on. I mean, one of my favorite players, and I'm not going to dog on him because he is an awesome player. I love Russell Westbrook, but Kevin Durant's the man. I mean, 19 shots only, and he had 20. And again, foul trouble had a lot to do with it because the whistles were going one way, But that's what happens when you're playing aggressive basketball. The whistle goes your way. And especially when you're a superstar, playing aggressively, and your home court. You're going to need a bigger night from James Harden. I mean, in 34 minutes to only put up 9 points, I understand you're playing one of the best defensive teams in this league, but 9 points isn't cutting it. And I think it's time that we start jumping off of LeBron's back, even though, yes, he still needs to win it. But Dwayne Wade needs some of this heat that's coming. Because he's been put on so much of a pass. You watch guys on ESPN, you know, Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, smart guys. They know what they're talking about. But they don't put it on Dwayne Wade. Stephen A. Smith has. I'll give him that much. But it just seems to me that he gets the pass. And I'm not, again, it's certain, only certain people are giving him that, depending on your LeBron basher. If you're a LeBron basher, you're usually a Wade backer. If you're a Wade basher, you're a Bron backer. And that's what happens, and that's part of it. But Dwayne Wade puts up 22 shots, only goes 8 for 22. It's one of those things in the NBA. I've watched the NBA for a long time. For a long, long time. And I tried to explain this on Twitter and to my friends and people who would listen to me. The NBA is a vicious circle. Teams historically have to fail before they succeed. You saw it with the Bulls. You saw it with the Lakers, the Celtics. You've seen it with anybody who's ever become champion. Teams typically lose before they succeed. And you've seen it with LeBron James. He's lost his already. Dwayne Wade's lost his. Even though Dwayne Wade won his, he's lost his titles. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden might lose this one. Because you have to know what it feels like to lose in order to win in the NBA. It's just historically worked out that way. I picked Oklahoma City in 7 games. A few nights ago, you know how it is when you're with your buddies. You want to impress the girls. You're going to come out with the bold pick. I said Miami will win this in 6 games. So on the air, I have 7. With my friends, I have 6. And over the last few days, especially this past weekend, it's starting to look like Miami just might be that team this year. Now, I'm not one of these guys who jumps over the bandwagon and, quickly buries a team after 2 games, because obviously San Antonio was up 2-0 to Oklahoma City and could not finish the series. But these are the finals. It's a different format. It's a different animal. We'll have to see. I'm rooting for OKC, but it just feels like Miami might just have it. Here on the Chicago Beat and WICB Chicago, we are huge football fans. We live, breathe, live, and love it. And that's how it is here in the city of Chicago. And we have a special deal for all the businesses out there who want to get their name out there in the sports world. Chicagoland Prep Report is a 15-week, 3-hour live Sunday night show from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. It's all about high school football in the state of Illinois. We broadcast live football games. And if you want to get into this, email the show or comment us on Facebook for your chance at details to get your product name out there while we showcase the best talent in the state of Illinois in high school football. For everybody here at WICB Chicago and the Chicago Beat, I want to thank you for listening. I am Mike Mercado. If you want to follow the show, we're at mmercado2333.com. Or if you want to comment us on Facebook, do the poll question. Tell us what you thought about it. We're at Facebook/MikeMercado2333.com. For everybody who helped the show, all the men, the women, secret producer man, and of course you guys, this has been the Chicago Beat. Enjoy the Crosstown Classic, everybody.